Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. Well, have I got a fantastic technique to share with you today. This is really a bit special. I saw something on Pinterest and I thought, oh, I'm going to have a go at doing that. Now, it's about taking a pergamon or a parchment craft sort of technique and doing it in a cheats way. Now, some people might not like to do it. They want to do the true way. I'm quite a lazy crafter, so if I can achieve the look of parchment craft without the hours worth of work and without the all the hassle, I'm never going to say it's parchment craft. I'm never going to try and tell somebody that that's what I've done, but I've created this that looks like beautiful parchment. How about that? I'm going to show you now how easy this is to achieve. Have you ever seen an image and you think to yourself, oh my goodness me, that would look gorgeous in parchment? So when I say parchment, I mean where you get your vellum and then you put it over a mat and then you use your ball tool, either freehand or through a frame, to create the image on there. So where the ball tool goes, it creates like a white, when you turn it over, a white image. You see these images and they take hours and hours and hours, and I've often said I'm quite a lazy crafter. So I saw something on Pinterest and thought I'm going to have a go at that. And it was about using your embossing folders to create the effect of parchment craft. I know it's cheating and I'm never going to say, oh, I've done this through parchment craft, but I wanted to create that effect. So I found a really nice embossing folder. It could be any. I had lots of mine and they were square ones, but I really fancied doing this as a rectangle. So I found this one, my Elegant Floral Spray. It's a 3D one, and I do think 3D ones work really, really well. So I've cut my cards, my vellum. So my embossing folder is 5 by 7. So I've cut it. That's the width of a piece of vellum, so I've just cut a strip off. And I've cut it to just over 6 3/4. I will trim it down when I've finished. And it's going to go into my embossing folder like that, with equal amounts on either side. Now, it's got to be the right length at the top, because obviously you've got the hinge, so you can't go any further, but you can overlap on the outsides. But before we do that, I'm going to open it out. Now you have an indented side, which is the top, and you have a raised side, which is the bottom. So this will then push the cardstock into that indent. So what I'm going to do is, on the raised, I'm going to take a white ink pad. You can be any white ink pad. This just happens to be a pigment ink pad, but you know, have a look at what ink pads that you've got, and white will look better for this. You can experiment with sort of doing coloured, because we all do coloured vellum, but if you want to get the look of parchment craft, then you need a white one. So I'm just pressing lightly so that it only goes on to the raised bit. I can see a little bit where it has gone onto the base, so I'm just going to get my cloth, and it's only around the edges. Just going to wipe that off, because I don't want that there. There we go, just like that. Okay, now the same rules apply as when you're doing regular letter pressing. I always put my cardstock on my medium onto my clean side, so I'm just measuring it up. It only has to be approximately in the middle, because this is going to be tucked out of the way, but I just need something to wrap it round the card. Then I'm going to close that down. Now I did think about using my small plates, but I thought no, I want to use my larger plates so that I can put it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it, I'm going to just do it that way. I'm going to pop it at a little bit of an angle, just like that. So what's going to happen is it's going to come down here. I don't want it to go the other way, because if I go the other way and it pushes the parchment, it's going to hit the hinge and crease. So I'm going to do it this way. I can't go any further. I could actually wrap that round. That's not very straight, is it? I've gone wonky now. There we go. I could go wrap that round and it wouldn't do any harm at all, but I'm going to just leave it out for now. It's a 3D embossing folder, so I'm going to pop on my magnetic shim, and I'm going to put on my plastic shim, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. You will know what the plate combination is for your machine. So yeah, it's just for a 3D embossing folder. Get rid of those. So I'm going to open this out. Now look at this. When I turn that over, it's given me the image. It looks like I've done. Look at that. You can see it's raised. All that looks like gorgeous parchment craft. If you want to make it a little bit stronger, what I then did was I got one of my little blending brushes. These are in my bits at the bottom, my description, and I did go over a few little bits, just some of the bigger bits, just to enhance that white, just where I knew I could just get it into there if you wanted to. So it just looks like you've done extra work with your ball tool if you wanted to. But it actually didn't really need it. That one was a really good impression. So I can turn that over, and doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? That looks like really good parchment craft. Now, if I was to wrap this round white card, oh no, I lose it. Can you see? I've just lost it off there. It's just disappeared. So I need to make a background for it to stand out. And that's where the fun bit comes in. So I have got, let's move the vellum out of the way. I've got a piece of white card, and you can see my colour palette. Look, I've got my blending brushes. I've gone with a quick dry ink. Now, I don't know, this isn't necessarily a thing, but I used to find that if I use quick dry inks to do blending, it doesn't blend as well, but the colours are more vivid. They're a lot stronger. I'm just going to use my cloth to hold on. The colours are quite strong. And what I need is quite strong colour, because it's going to go through, it needs to shine through the vellum. So I found, you know, a really pale water-based ink isn't going to do it, because look at how strong that colour is. Doesn't that look amazing? I love that. Right, so that's my pink. I'm not going to put the lid on yet. I'm going to go yellow. Do you notice I always do a little, touch it off onto there, and then do it there? So I'm going to blend over the two. Is that about halfway? I think it is. So then I'm going to just take some of that colour and go over that join. I'm not trying to blend them seamlessly, because remember, this is going to have vellum wrap around it, so you're not going to see it anyway. So, you know, please don't get overly concerned. Blend that through there. And then there. I'm actually going to just take this yellow lightly just beyond the halfway mark, because you can see my colours. I think you know where it's coming next. Let's go with the green next. And then onto here. Let's start down there. Now, ideally, you wouldn't get, look at that. That's because I went straight on. But don't worry, we'll blend that out. This is why we always blend onto our mats first. Really don't worry about that, because, like I say, it's going through vellum, and we can just keep adding ink till it's really strong. Because that's nowhere near strong enough yet. I always say put it onto your mat first, and then I didn't put it onto my mat first, and what did I do? I created clouds. But don't worry, we'll just keep working it and keep working it. I'll come back to that green in a minute. I'm going to just turn it round, and then I'm going to do my blue. I'll do it properly this time. Pick up the blue onto the mat, and then onto the cardstock, especially with something like your quick dry inks. So there. Which they do blend, but they weren't created for blending. Yeah. We just want some nice strong colour. Just go over that. I'm just going to get the yellow and go into that green. Straight away it's starting to dissipate, but just remember it's going to be hidden anyway. Look at that, we're definitely moving that colour. Ooh, achy arms. Let's just try and blend that a little bit. But I'm not too concerned. Okay, I'm just going to stop at that, because I think actually by the time I've gone through my vellum, you're not going to see anything much anyway. So that's pink. This is where I end up putting the wrong lids on the wrong ink pad, and then when I come to do something next time, I've got all the wrong colours. Doesn't that look so vibrant? It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Really, really pretty. So then what I need to do is pop my wrap around. Now I use my scoreboard just because I like to know that I've got a nice straight edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come, let's just see, that's going to be about like that. So let's go to that one. Like I say, oh, don't go too, I've gone a bit hard on that. So that's going to go on there. Oh, I've nearly ripped through that. That's not what you want to do. And then this one, I'm going to pop it onto there, and then I'm just going to use that groove to bend that up. There we go. And bend it down like that. And then when you've turned it over, look at what you've got. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now I went a little bit heavy on there, so luckily I've actually got one. Oh, I've put it in the other way around. There you go. How beautiful does that look? So I've just wrapped it round, but this is one that I've not actually cut. So all I need to do now, that looks lovely, doesn't it? But can you see how, if I show you this, I just want to show you the two. They are very, very similar, but the colours, they just mute them, doesn't it? It just looks so lovely. And if you don't want to do that, that with my spare one, I can die cut into that, and that'll actually make lovely flowers. So I've already trimmed this one down to make sure that everything is the same size. Yes, definitely that way around. I'm going to grab some red liner. Red liner is good for things like this. I'm going to pop a piece onto here. Let's give that a quick cut. And, you know, this is the best way to do it. We could have cut this vellum to exactly the same... Oh, gosh, I nearly ran off there. To exactly the same size as my embossing folder. But if I'd have done that, then I would have really struggled to have attached it to the card without the adhesive being seen. Now, again, I thought to myself, could I put it straight onto the pink? I don't like that. But if you put it onto white... like that, and then put it onto pink, can you see the difference? Doesn't that look so much more sophisticated? But before I do that, there's one thing I nearly forgot. I have myself a sentiment. I'm going to have to use foam pad for this, or tape, because I'll squash it otherwise. So what I want to do is I want to put that on, so I'm just going to put a little bit of foam tape on the back. I would normally use, you know me, I would normally use sort of a 3D glue, but I haven't finished making the card. So if I use 3D glue, I'm just going to squash it. So where do I want this to be? I might put it about there. So let's take off the backing. This is so quick, isn't it? But it looks like you've actually spent hours and hours and hours. So let me see. I think I'm trying to get about roughly the same size either end. I think like that. And all I'll do, take my scissors. I think I'll use my big scissors. Oops, sorry, I just knocked the camera. Just turn it over. Oh, look, I've got some foam pad as well, but that's fine. There we go. There we are. So it's nice straight edge on there. Brilliant. Now I can put it onto my back base, and that now I need to go glue around there, around the edge, and I might actually even just put it over my red liner, otherwise the red liner will grab. Let's do down there and down there. Now just remember that where it's vellum, it'll take a little bit longer for the glue to dry, just because it's non-porous, so there's nowhere for the glue to go, so it just needs to dry. Let's put that in there. Okay, so that red liner will have grabbed as well. It'll have gone through that glue. And how about like that? And actually, it almost sort of bows out a little bit if you wanted it to. You can have it, you know, quite bowed. That would be another way to do it, is if you actually put on like 1/4 inch or so onto the width and then have it, it will bow. That would look really nice. So this is just bowed a little bit. Now, quick one. I wasn't meant to do this before I started the video and then I forgot. This is one, I'm getting really low on this. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my paper trim. I'll take it up to the 3/4 inch mark. This is 7 1/4. So I'm going to start at 3/4 inch there and run it down to 6 1/2. Then I'm going to turn it round and put it up to the 3/4 inch. I like a 3/4 inch. I just find it's a good one to work with. So that's 5 1/2. So I want 4 3/4 off there. So I'm just measuring where roughly 3/4 inch is. 3/4 inch on there. You can see you've got it straight because you've got all the lines on your trimmer, so you know it's straight. Go down to there. 3/4 inch on the bottom. And then we're going to do the last one. And they call this gutting the card. I know it's not a very, it doesn't sound very pleasant, but what it makes your card lighter. But also it means that if I've got a smaller project, I've actually now, I didn't go right to the edge there, did I? Let me just put that, there we go. And there, I missed a little bit. Now if I've got a smaller project, I've actually got a piece of card that I can use. So I've taken an 8-inch card base and I've trimmed it down. So let's pop this on. Like I say, it's a way to preserve your card. It's our cardstock is precious, and I don't know how much more pink. I might have another pack stashed away somewhere. Secret stash. There we go. And I think, as usual, I'm going to pop a little bit of foam tape on there. So I've got my big roll. Let's cut off a bit. How do you reckon I've done for measurements today? Have I got it quite close, do you think? 1. I need 4 pieces on something this wide. It's quite a narrow tape. Oh no, I've not done it. I've not done it as accurately. I don't. Oh, this isn't bad again. I'm obviously getting my eye in on this. Look at this. Oh, I shock myself sometimes. I don't know how that happens. It keeps happening that I keep getting it, pulling it off the roll at the right length. It's the silly things, isn't it? The silly things that make us smile. There we go. I think the first time I did it, I said, oh, I'll never do that again. I think I've done it about 3 times since. There we are. This tape is so easy to remove the backing. It's brilliant. And as always, let's put a little bit of PVA on. How easy is this? I've got a pink layer, I've got a white layer, I've got my vellum with the white insert. I mean, that's it. That's all I've got. Let's make sure I've got that the right way up. Yep. Let's have a quick look. Are we even? Just adds a little bit to just give it that lift, doesn't it? That looks pretty good. Give it a press. Now, that could potentially be it. I mean, yeah, quite happy if that was my card. But I've just thought I would just carry on with the white theme. And I would just do a couple of little gems. So I've got to decide where to put them first. So I think it's definitely precision glue press for this. Let's find a couple, because there's some larger ones in here which I don't want. Let's see if I can find a couple of smaller ones out. I've got one. I got these ones out because they are true white, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a true white. I've got so many that are cream, and I thought, oh, pearly coloured, and I didn't want that. Now, will 3 be enough? I think it will actually, yeah. Oh yeah, that's just right, isn't it? Okay, so let's put the precision glue press on. Let's get my gem pickup tool. Let's pick that one up and put a little tiniest. It needs the tiniest bit of glue, or maybe a bit more than that for the next one. Put a little bit of glue down here, and then we can put that one on. The great thing is, look, the glue's oozed out a little bit, but tacky glue dries clear, so I'm really not going to fret about it. What you have to remember, as I keep saying, vellum is non-porous, so glue does take a few minutes to dry on it. Now, did that one dry? Oh yes, that one's stuck. And there you go. That is all I would do. But isn't that beautiful? I saw a technique and I thought, yes, I really, really like that. It looked, so I've embossed vellum. If you're struggling to get it embossed, you can always put a piece of copier paper in as well, which will obviously help you, you know, to stop the vellum from cracking. But you don't go too heavy on your plate. But look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? With the white ink behind, it just makes it look like you've done some really, really clever parchment craft. I like that. I hope you do too. So I'm going to leave you with that one there. Hopefully it's nice and quick, and you know, you'll be able to think about maybe is there something that you would like to make very similar to that. So until next time, my crafty friends, thank you so much for tuning in as always. I really do appreciate your support. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget, I've got way over 100 videos on my back catalogue if you want to look at any of those. Of course, I'll put a link to this side, and on this side I'll put a link to my subscribe. But if you can click the like if you like this technique, it really would help, because it helps me to get the videos out, and also any of the links in the description below. So until next time, my crafty friends, you take care, enjoy your crafting, keep happy, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.